So if I got part A figured out the way I need to, I can, and it's all real solutions, I'm going to go ahead and say exactly what I have here. But for part B, if I'm going to try to specifically find when it's between 0 and 2 pi, it's going to be in my best interest to get this and this as a fraction with one single denominator. It just makes life so much easier, and it's really, once you get past the fact that the fractions and the pi symbols and the ends are confusing, like, don't think about that. Just, we need to get these denominators to be the same. And it's never going to be all that hard based on the other math that we've done. It's just like, you've definitely done harder fraction problems. Try to block out the pi in the end. Don't let it stress you out. That's the goal, right? Focus on the fact that this is 30 and this is 5, and I want these to match. So the best way to do that is to make this denominator 6 times bigger, which means making this numerator 6 times bigger. And I easily, you could have asked me as a freshman what 2 pi times n times 6 was, and I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have been able to say 12 pi n. It would have been weird, but I could have done it. And if you don't like that, if you're like, no, Mr. Dubsik, I could have done that. I mean, if I said 2an times 6, and you're like, hey, that's simply going to be 12an. If this seems easy to you and this seems confusing to you, then you are just overthinking it and looking at it and making it more complicated than it needs to be. Multiplying expressions is the same, whether we're using x's, pi's, n's, or whatever. So, having said all that stuff, I'm going to have here for the green answers, x will be 7 pi plus 12 pi n all over 30. And of course, a similar thing happens here. And like literally, when I say similar, I mean like, whoa, that's like really similar. The only difference is it's 11 pi plus 12 pi n all over 30. And now I have the fun task of keeping a few things in mind. Here's my mind. I don't want to exceed 2 pi. My denominator currently is 30. So as soon as my coefficient on pi becomes more than twice of 30, so as soon as my coefficient on pi becomes 60 or higher, I'm done. If n equals 0, I'm starting with 7 pi over 30. And I'm just going to keep adding 12 pi to 7 pi until I'm going to exceed 60. If you need to pause and rewind this part of the video to hear what I said again, because there is a lot of mental stuff going on right now, feel free to do that. At the end of the day, I want to keep adding 12 pi to 7 pi until the coefficient on pi is more than twice the denominator, so more than 60. So 12 plus 17 is 19 pi over 30. If I add another 12, 31 pi over 30. I'm going to pause and actually double check all my math because my arithmetic sometimes gets a little wonky. But when you guys resume the video, I'm going to have all the green and all the pink answers up. So why don't you figure them out? I'll make sure mine are correct. I'll correct any mistakes I may have made, and it's going to be a great time. I'm going to pause the video right now. And there we have it. Hopefully you agree with everything I have on the paper there. I do want to point out a couple things. On my calculator, I kept just doing answer plus 12, plus 12, plus 12. So that was pretty quick. It was faster than doing it in my head. And I also want to point out, like, there's definitely a connection between how many more answers we get and what that multiple on x is. If you think back to the original problem, this was the sine of 5x. How many green answers did I produce? How many pink answers did I produce in this example? It's not a coincidence. When it was in the previous example, when it was cosine of 3t, we had those two answers from the cosine function, and each one produced their own set. How many in each set? Not a coincidence. So one way you can know if you're done is like looking at that connection and seeing if your answers line up. If you're not sure what I'm seeing, just keep looking for it. It'll dawn on you. Your homework is to try 5 of these problems. It's in a worksheet that I'm going to create as soon as I finish this video. I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. If you're having trouble, I have office hours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 3 to 3:30. And yeah, enjoy yourselves today. Be safe. Submit any homework you haven't submitted yet. And yeah, see you soon. Bye, kiddos.